Hello, and welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, I really want to take a look at state pension, how much I am on track to earn, how you can even look to check where you are, and just cover some of the nuances of the state pension that I haven't actually seen anywhere. It's something that we don't really talk about that much, and to be honest, I think a lot of people kind of sleep on it really, and they just assume that they're going to be getting the full state pension, and it's definitely something that's important to check. So, let's go. So to start with, I thought I'd just summarise what the state pension is for those of you that don't know. It is effectively the amount that is going to be paid to you by the state in retirement. At the moment, that currently stands at around 66, 67, depending on what's going to happen right now. We're currently in 2025 in the UK. And how it's funded, essentially and very simplistically, is that we all make national insurance contributions, which is what we pay kind of on top of our income tax, if you will. Now, for those of us that are paying it now, effectively that is funding the current retirees that are using it. And the idea being that when we then get to retirement, the next generation along will pay national insurance and they'll pay into that pot and fund our retirement, so on and so forth. There's a lot of speculation around whether it will still exist in 30 years' time. I won't really talk about that in this video, to be fair, but we just kind of have to take it on face value and just, for the purpose of this video, assume it's going to be there, and we will take a look at how you can go in and check yours. So let's jump in. So to start with, the easiest way to check this is to jump in, and I just typed check state pension into Google or Microsoft Bing in this case, and this first link, .gov.uk check state pension, click on that. It brings you to this page. You will have to jump in and do I think it's like a login code. You'll have to create one of these if you haven't done so before. Definitely a useful tool because you'll need it for tax returns and things like this if you ever think about setting up a business in future. But it's basically a government gateway number or ID. So you apply to get this, you create a password, you provide your phone number, they'll text you a code which you can then use as a one-time passcode to jump into this page. So that's the process I've been through prior to going onto this clip because it sent a text, I didn't want to have it pop up on the screen. And yeah, here we go. So here is my summary state pension. So at the moment, this .gov website forecast thing portal is saying that I'll be able to get my full state pension by 2060, currently in 2025, so 35 years away. And I'm on forecast for earning the £230.25 a week or £1,000 a month. So not too bad. But there is a caveat to that. And let's scroll down and you'll see what I mean. So first thing to highlight, this, like it says here, this is just a forecast. It's not guaranteed. It doesn't include any inflation or anything like that. It's just a very high level forecast. It's something that's good to know. And for me to get the full 230, you'll see down here, it actually tells me, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people are not necessarily aware of, is that it tells me how many years I need to contribute over my working life to get that 230. So some people may assume that you just get the full state pension regardless. If you haven't got enough years of qualifying contributions over your working life, you're actually possibly entitled to nothing, which for some people might come as quite a surprise. I don't want you to worry too much if that's you, because I'll show you in a minute how you can potentially rectify some of that. But yeah, some people might have had career breaks, some people might have taken time off work. And for those reasons, if you haven't been making those contributions, you're missing out on years and years and years of contributions and basically working up to this amount. And ultimately, the sooner you reach this number, the sooner you can retire from employment if you're able to. So if you're able to retire earlier, you want to make sure that you've made these contributions so that at 67, 68, or who knows, 70 when we get there, these contributions or these payments will still kick in, because if you haven't made these contributions, you're going to be solely reliant on your own personal investments, whether that be your own pension, whether it be rental income, your own business, whatever it is. You won't be eligible for any state income. unless there are some circumstances where you might be. So jumping back into this, so yeah, you can see that I need to pay another 19 years of contributions before 2060, so before the time that I'm going to be able to receive this amount. I need to do another 19 years, which isn't too bad. I've got 35 years until that point, 19 years of that. I basically need to work for another half of that, so that takes me up to 51 if I were to get the full amount. So always something to keep in mind. So you can scroll down here and you can actually see this link here, your national insurance record. So if you click on that, it brings you to this page, which I only saw this a couple of days ago, to be fair. It's quite interesting. And you can see here that since I started even my part-time job back in 2008, 2009, wow, that technically counts as a full year. So you don't have to be earning mega money to contribute. As long as you are contributing from some sort of employment, it usually counts as the full year. What I didn't realize is that there were a couple of years here where I went to university and I didn't actually have full-time employment. So I had, and if you look in here, you can see that it just basically tells me I didn't have enough contributions, or for whatever reason I wasn't working enough to pay into this pot. What's interesting is that you can go back up to 6 years. So if you're one of these people that you've just got a job now and you've had the last few years off, if you get in early enough, you can top that up so you're not losing these years. And that's something I probably would have done, because that would have meant I would have only had 17 years, which would have taken me to 49 until I could have retired and still got the full state pension, versus now I have to work to 51 if I still want the full state pension. So it's all money left on the table at the end of the day, and that's the way I kind of look at it. It's not going to absolutely break the bank, but £1,000 effectively annuity guaranteed is a decent chunk of money. It is a good amount, and it's something that isn't to be slept on. Like, you might need that in future. So then just jumping across and looking at this, it says here you need 35 years of full qualifying payments or contributions. This is just looking at some of the assumptions. This does flux based on, so if you go on the actual Gov website, it tells you here that you need different amounts of years. So you need to contribute a minimum of 11 or a minimum of 10. Here are some other things about whether you're married versus whether you're single. They've even got some points on here about being transgender. Like I said, I'm not going to run through all of them. The point of this video is just to highlight that there is this information out there that I don't think a lot of people know about, and I would definitely look at your personal situation and what it means for you, because it's definitely, a lot of people will have paid into this for a large chunk of their life. You don't want to mess it up and become ineligible just for not reading a website. One of the important things that I wanted to run through, I don't know now. Here we go. So just here, qualifying full amount. I think this only covers people that are retiring now. So it says 30 years. I think they bumped that back up to 35 now, I guess anyone after this point. So it changes, chops and changes from when you were born, how old you are now, when you're due to retire, and it will constantly evolve over the time. So this video might be irrelevant within 5-10 years, who knows? But all you can do is go on the information you've got now. So that's what I'm doing. And the reason I'm factoring this into my retirement plan, for those of you that are new here, I am looking to retire as early as possible, but I want to do it in a financially responsible way, and I want to gain my financial independence. By retirement, I don't necessarily mean completely sitting on a beach and not working at all in any way, shape or form, but I don't want to be fully reliant on my one source of income, if that makes sense. I want to be able to feel like I can just pick up and go if I want to and not have to worry about the money. Does that mean I will? Maybe not. Who knows how I feel at the time. But that is the end goal for me, is getting to that position where I'm comfortable enough in my own finances to have that independence. How does that relate to me and my personal situation? I'm just going to jump over to this. This is just literally a section of my fixed costs from my planning budget that you will have seen at the start of the year. If you haven't, I'll drop a link to the comment up here, to the video, sorry. And here I've just done this is the current amount. So this is that 106.24. So if I stopped working now at 65, this is what I would potentially get for a month. How I've done that is I've worked this multiplier out here, which is the 230, the £1,001 divided by the 230, which if I jump back to here, yeah, that's the 230, the full amount. And up here, basically, it says the 230 equates to 1,001.18. So my assumption is the 1,001.18 divided by the 230 gives me the multiplier for how they make the weeks into months. So it's about 4.3 weeks in a month. So that's what I've done to get this monthly figure. If that's confusing, just use this number. Don't worry about it. And you can see here that there's a shortfall. If I was to rely solely on the state pension at my current cost base, there is a shortfall of £1,000 if I were to retire and stop working now completely, and £400 if I were just to give up working now and wait to 67. So the reason that's interesting is because my plan is to clearly have my mortgage completely paid off by that point. Way, way, way before that point, hence the overpayments. So interestingly enough, if I were to wipe those out, technically I could live on the state pension money from 67 onwards. If it's still there, I could survive, well, maybe not no problem, but all of my fixed costs would be paid. If I stopped right now, I'd only have £26 left for food, so maybe not. But on the full amount, if I waited till I was 51, I'd still have £560 remaining, which is really, really, really good, I think, based on that being the base state pension. It doesn't include my other plans I've got for early retirement, doesn't include my personal pension, which will be providing a lot more and doing a lot more of the heavy lifting. So in a way, what you can look at the state pension as, and this is how I try to look at it, is that it isn't going to be the thing that's going to make or break my early financial independence goals. It isn't going to be the thing that's going to mean I can go and do whatever I want, but it is going to hopefully be my bare essentials, basic income that I need when I get to 67 onwards. So all I need to do is figure out the bit between, if I went for the full amount, 51 and 67. And really, those are going to be the key years where I want to enjoy my life. Healthy age in the UK is 64. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking that we're going to be all living till 85, 90 on like jet skis and beaches, doing whatever we want. That is very, very seldom the case. In very rare occasions does that actually happen. The reality is, a lot of people do unfortunately pass away within 10 years of retiring if they retire at 67. So I don't want to be in that situation where I have to work into those later years when I want to be slowing down and actually enjoying my final decade, 2 decades of good health. I don't want to be doing that. And I'm sorry if it's just me that thinks like this at 32. I'm just conscious that when I look at the generation above me now, and I see how there's such a disparity between people that were looked after by their companies and people that were kind of in that boat that we are, if you're a millennial or younger, of defined contribution schemes, and it's kind of up to you to have to figure out your pension. If you haven't thought about it, you're really, really sometimes left in the lurch. And I really do not want to be that person who has to do that. I don't want to be. Who knows? I may end up being all these plans, best laid plans could fail, but at least I'm trying. And that's what I'm trying to get across in this video, is that make sure you're staying on top of all of these easy things to manage. This is something you're paying into anyway. You may as well know about it. You may as well try and maximize it. Make sure you're not missing out on any of those contributions. Make sure you're going to be fully topped up by the time that you do come to retire. If that's before 67, great. As long as you've made all these contributions at that point of 67, it will kick in. And that's it, really. That's all I had to say on the state pension.
There is a wealth of information out there, way more detailed in this video if you want to know the little nuances. My messaging from this video is just make sure you're not ignoring it, make sure you're up to speed on it, and do not miss out, basically, is all I'm saying. So I hope you found it useful. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.